Hey, what's up, friends? This is James Hardy. I hope you're having a beautiful day. We're going to get into some power yoga. So for today's class, I want you just to come up to standing. You can have your feet on parallel at hip bone distance, or bring your big toes together and have a little bit of space back between your heels. Once your feet are set up, take a big inhale to shrug your shoulder heads high up towards your ears, and exhale, sigh out the mouth and just roll your shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sigh and roll. Nice, one more like that. Inhale, lift, shoulder heads up high. Exhale, sigh and roll. Just release your arms, have a little bend into your knees. Feel that length all the way through the back of the neck. And then we'll take Dirghaswasana Pranayama, a 3-part breath. So just release the air all the way down to empty. And then breathe into your low belly for 1, 2, 3, and hold. Breathe into your mid-abdomen for 1, 2, 3, and hold. And then take your air all the way to your chest, all the way to your shoulders. Awesome. Hold the full breath and relax. And then on your exhale, let's release it like we're quieting a child. So like this. Shh. Nice. One more time through the 3-part breath. Inhale, low belly, low back. Hold there. Breathe into your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. Hold there. Breathe all the way into your chest, all the way to your shoulders. Once you've got your full breath, just relax around it. Hold. If you want, sip in a little more air to top it up. And then again, that same exhale, like you're quieting somebody. Shh. We'll start Ujjayi breathing. So inhale slow and deep through the nose like you're sipping the air and hugging the muscles in the back of your throat. Once you arrive up at your full point, exhale back out the nose like you're fogging up a mirror, slowly releasing down to empty. And as we engage this breath control, Ujjayi breathing, the breath of victory, we start to engage mindfulness. Breath is something usually we don't have to think about. You don't have to remember to inhale or remember to exhale. Your body automatically does it. But when you bring it into your control, when you start to navigate the inhales and navigate the exhales, you start to bring your mind into the present moment, into the present experience, what's happening right here and now with your body. So feel the breath moving through your body. Listen to the sound that Ujjayi breath creates. It's like ocean waves or hollow wind. And then allow your breath to be your link for mindfulness and thus the guide for the entire practice. And just take what works for me and leave the rest behind. Blink the eyes open to a soft gaze up front. On an inhale, just stretch and reach your arms up tall. Breathe into mountain. And as you exhale, hinge out from your hips and control your swan dive down into a forward fold. Release your head at the bottom. And on your inhale, come halfway up. And we'll hold this for a couple rounds of breath. So slight bend into your knees. You're pushing just right below your knees into your shins. And then we want to tone the shoulder blades in like you're squeezing a pencil between them. Lengthen the back of the neck. Chin is slightly back towards your throat. So a really supportive length in the spine. Your next exhale, just take this and fold forward. And then link opposite hand to the outside of opposite elbow or bicep. If your feet are not at hip bone distance, bring them just at about hip bone distance. We'll create this ragdoll frame and just allow your body to gently sway side to side or to lightly rock back and forth. Keep those inhales and those exhales going. You can add any nod yes or side to side nod no through your head that feels good to you. And you'll notice when you're doing that deep breath, when your exhales come, your body releases into the stretch that we're in. Let go of the frame of your arms and then bring your hands down to the ground and just walk your left hand over to the center. You can use your fingertip to your fist or your palm. Press into your left hand, bend into your left knee, and then reach your right arm up tall as you press down into your right heel. Gaze is over towards the right side of the room. And we're creating length up the back of that right leg and also on the edge of it, the back edge of it, right up into your hip. And then it's twisting all the way through your torso, going up through your fingertips. Nice. Take one more inhale to reach and lengthen here. And on your exhale, fold forward. And then we'll switch things out. So just bring your right fingertips, fist, or palm down into the center. Bend into your right knee. Lengthen your left leg. Draw your left arm up nice and tall. Stretch through the fingers. And create that stretch now along the back outside edge of your left leg. All the way up into your hip. And then it's coming up into your side body, into your torso as you stack that left shoulder over the right. Stay with your breathing. Nice. On your next exhale, just allow the weight of the body to fold forward. Get the head nice and heavy. And vertebrae by vertebrae, slowly wind up to standing, letting your head be the very last thing to come up. When your head stacks up and your shoulders stack up, inhale the arms tall in space, maybe arc slightly back. And on the exhale, just bring your hands down into your heart center. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. So from the side, you're just letting the sit bones reach back in space, dropping the weight to your heels. Feet are gripping down to the ground. And as your sit bones reach back, your chest is lifting up, so there's a curve in your back right here. As you drop the weight into your knee joints, strengthen around your knee joints. So fire up the muscles of your legs, fire up your glutes. And then as you lift up through your chest, reinforce that strength around your spine with your core muscles. And then your arms could be coming up parallel, pulling back to your ears. You could also bring them out like goalposts. Just bring your shoulder blades slightly behind you. Take the hands into your chest, draw a deep breath in. And on your exhale, we'll twist over to the right. So bring your left elbow to the top outside of your right thigh. If your left knee shot forward beyond your right knee, line your knees up in front of you so the hips are lined up behind you. And then open through your chest. Stack the right shoulder over the left as you breathe. One thing that helps me is to think about the knuckles on your thumbs lining up with your sternum, even pulling in towards your sternum. Stay with that breath. Nice. On the inhale, just bring your hands back up to heart center. We're still in chair. And on your exhale, we're going to switch that twist out. So now over to the left, right tricep top outside of that left thigh. Press the palms together, twist open towards the left wall. Stack left shoulder over right shoulder. If your right knee swiveled forward beyond the left, again, knees are lined up in front of us, so hips are lined up back behind us. Knuckles on the thumbs, lining up with your sternum, even maybe pulling slightly in. And when you're in that twist, it's a really easy time to feel the work of the breath. Your inhale creates space in the twist, and on the exhale, your body releases a little bit deeper into it. Awesome. We'll inhale just to rise all the way up in the mountain. Breathe in. And on the exhale, cactus your arms open and take a baby back bend, lifting through your chest. Make sure the legs aren't locked. There's a little softness in them. And then we're strengthening around the spine here, core nice and strong. Inhale to reach your arms back up tall. And on the exhale, hinge out from your hips and swan dive down into a forward fold. Nice. Inhale halfway up, lengthen through your spine, strengthen around it. And then plant your hands and we'll step back into a tabletop position. To warm up our wrists, turn the insides of your wrists to face forward to the front of the room. Your palms are down, fingers point back, and thumbs point to the side. And then you could rock side to side, or you could do back and forth, or you could do circles. Or you could lean back and peel your hands off the ground to your fingertips, and then just gently roll back forward, bringing the hands all the way back down to the ground. Take a couple more rounds of breath here. We're rolling out the palm, we're rolling out the fingers, we're stretching out through the wrists, through the forearms. Awesome, friends. Take the back of your hands down to the ground. Same thing. Just give a little massage into the back of the hands while we're here. And then eventually just bring your sit bones back to your heels, your knees are together, and give a roll out through your wrists. Nice. With the wrists, the hands nice and warmed up. Come to the top of a plank. You can do this on your toes, with hips on level with your shoulders, or down on your knees. And if you're on your knees, you want to avoid your hips slumping down or bending your hips backing up. So your hips are create a straight line from your knees all the way through the back of your neck. And then on an exhale, just hinge slightly forward, lower halfway down. And as you inhale, lift yourself back up. So on toes or knees, avoid bending the hips. Exhale again, lower halfway down, lead with your sternum. Inhale, lift back up. Nice one. Exhale, lower halfway down. Keep it nice and strong. Inhale, lift back up. And on the next exhale, slowly lower to the ground in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touch down and then low cobra. Tops of the feet to the ground. You can relax your chin to the floor. And then your palms slide a little lower down your torso to frame your mid-ribs, elbows high in space. Squeeze the elbows together so your shoulder blades pull together, and then start to lift just your chest off the ground. Find length through the back of your neck, chin slightly back into your throat. Test out that you're not pushing through your arms, you're using the snake muscles of your body, the core muscles and back muscles, by lifting your palms, just floating them a ½ inch up off the ground. Perfect, and then reach your arms back in space. Start to lift your thighs up off the ground. So we take that low cobra and we move it into our locust pose. Drawing up through the legs, drawing up through the chest, staying with your breathing. Take one more inhale right here, friends. And then when your exhale comes, lower down, palms under your shoulders, tuck your toes, and make your way to down dog, either through tabletop or through your plank. And then just start to walk out your down dog, warm it up. Bend into one knee, or rather press down into one heel as you bend through opposite knee. Just slowly working between your left side and your right side. Feel a spread out into your hands here, into the circle of your palm. Let your fingers grip. Relax the weight of your head and start to tone your biceps in towards center line like you're holding tennis balls between your ears and your biceps, holding them in place. Let the hips pull up nice and tall. The heels drop and pull towards the ground, lengthening the legs. And then we have a micro bend in the elbows, and we have bend into a little bit of bend into the knees. We don't want the knees locked back in place ever. There's a little bit of that micro bend. Awesome. Inhale your right leg back and up in space. And then to help that you don't dump into your left hip as you lift your right leg up, press your heel actively into the wall behind you, like you're reaching into it, pressing into it, and you'll find yourself lifting up out of that left hip to help lift the right leg back and up. On an exhale, start to work your foot up between your hands. We're going to a low lunge. From your low lunge, both hands framing your right foot, inhale, high crescent lunge. Awesome. And then as we're bringing the weight into our right knee, reinforce the strength around it. Strengthen through your right leg. Feel your right glute pulling up and back. Stabilize through both of your legs, letting your thighs pull into center line. Note your back heel is off the mat and pulling forward. You're on the ball of the left foot. Draw those arms up nice and tall. Okay, bring the hands to your heart center. Take a deep breath in, and then on your exhale, you're going to do a twist in your lunge over to the right. So left elbow to the top outside of your right thigh. And same thing as we were doing in chair, where as you go into that twist, you want to stack that top shoulder over the bottom. So stacking your right shoulder over your bottom left. Feel the knuckles on your thumbs again, lining up with your sternum. Nice breathing, you're doing great. Almost there. The end of your exhale, inhale back up into a high crescent lunge. And then on your exhale, we'll move into beggar's bowl, where you hover your back knee just off the ground, so it's a turbo lunge. Arms extend forward, spine is up nice and tall in space. Reinforce that strength in your legs, your thighs pulling in towards center line. Breathe into this. You got it. Those inhales, those exhales. And I like to pretend like there's some weight to the bowl that you're lifting, so that you need to use your core. You need to use your shoulders to not collapse under the weight of it. Pretend that you're lifting up nice and strong through it. And then on the inhale, we move all the way up into one-legged mountain. So press off that back left leg. Draw your arms and your left knee up nice and tall in space. Left knee is bent at 90, thigh bone plugged back in towards your hips, arms extending up in space. You want to feel just as if you were doing mountain with both feet to your ground, you're just lifting that left leg up nice and tall. Focus your gaze out on something that's not moving, and then when you're ready, we're moving this into airplane on your exhale. So swim your arms back, swim your left leg back, and then like locust pose, let your heart shine forward, find length through the back of your neck so you're looking forward but out the top of your eyes. Watch at the front of the left hip bones, not twisting to open to the left. It's pointing down and back as you extend back through that left leg. You could bend your elbows a little bit up, tone your shoulders in, fingers extend back, and then inhale to a high crescent lunge from that airplane. So ball the left foot behind us, arms reach up, maybe a little back bend. You could cactus your arms here. Stay with that breath, friends. On your exhale, bring your hands down to frame your right foot. And then for side plank, we'll use left hand as the base. Roll onto the outside edge of the left foot, stack the right over the left, and draw the right arm up. You could also kickstand with your left knee to the ground and your toes out to the side. So opening this one up to you, left hand is your base, right underneath your shoulder, press into it, lifting that right arm up, pulling the hips up away from the ground, or with that kickstand option. And focus your gaze maybe to the side of the room or up where your right hand is reaching. One more inhale here, and then on your exhale, turn into your plank. And for your flow, your vinyasa, you could go directly to down dog, or we could drop halfway down. You might take another low cobra, or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Press to the tops of the feet, lift up through your chest. Shoulder blades slightly toning in, elbows micro bent. You're suspending the weight of your body just on the tops of the feet and just on the hands. Take one more deep breath into your up dog, if you're there. On your exhale, tuck your toes, shift your hips back up in space, find downward facing dog, friends. Work with that breathing. And then this next piece, we're going to skip when we go to our breath to movement. But just in between these right now, come into your tabletop. And then for thread the needle, stay rooted into your left hand. Inhale, your right arm reaches all the way up. And as you exhale, dive your right arm underneath the left. Bring your shoulder and the outside of your head down to the ground. Your knees could go a little bit wider than hip bone distance, but you want to leave the hips up above your knees in space so that the weight of your torso is coming down from the hips and pressing into the outside of your arm and the outside of your head. And then your left hand or forearm is just pressing away from your right shoulder on an angle, or at least just bracing. You can also think about as you extend your fingers to the left, you're slightly pulling your shoulder back to the right. But you want to feel that deep, slow breath. Nice. Last couple rounds of breath. You're doing great. So just bring your left palm down to the ground, press into it. Inhale, reaches your right arm from underneath, twist open. And as you exhale, come back into your tabletop. You can go directly to down dog from tabletop or step back into your plank and then shift your hips back and up in space. Take a couple rounds of breath in your downward facing dog. Find that alignment. Find those inhales, find those exhales. Perfect. From here, we'll inhale to reach the left leg back and up in space, starting to take this sequence on the other side. And again, to avoid dropping weight into your right hip, press that left heel up and back, and you're pressing through your hands, you're pressing back through the leg. Nice and strong. Front of your left hip bone pointing down and back. Take one more inhale to reach back and up through that left leg, and on an exhale, let's work the foot up to a low lunge in between the hands. Nice long stance from the front of the mat to the back. So as you inhale up to your high crescent lunge, you've already got pretty much a 90-degree bend in that front knee. Back right heel is pulling forward. You're on the ball of the right foot. Feel those thighs toning in. Focus your gaze, and it's all about feeling into your breath, being with your breath. This is all a moving meditation. For the twist, just bring your hands into your heart center. Draw a deep breath in, and as you exhale, hinge slightly forward, and then twist open to the left side of the room, bringing your right elbow to the top outside of your left thigh. Think about the knuckles on your thumbs pulling in towards your sternum as you twist open, stacking the bottom left shoulder over the top left shoulder over the bottom right. Nice. So get down to the end of that exhale on this round of breath. And once you tap into the end, we inhale to come back up to the high crescent lunge. And on your exhale, take your beggar's bowl or your turbo lunge. So reaching your arms forward to lift up the bowl, hovering the back knee just off the ground, toning those thighs in towards center line. And feeling all the support that you're giving your body, you're lowering into the engagement of your muscles, lowering into the support. One more round of breath. Next inhale is one-legged mountain, so press off your left leg. Drag your arms and your right knee up. And I'm laughing just because I came to stand up and kind of like almost fell to the side. But that's what it's all about, is staying playful with your balance. Have fun with it. If you fall out of it, no worries. These are just games that we are playing with our bodies. Okay, so as you're feeling set up in that one-legged mountain, you get the full length of your body, front right knee is bent at 90. Start to swim back to airplane. So reach your arms back, extend your right leg back, chest is slightly shining forward. You're looking at the top of your eyes. Shoulder blades slightly toning in, elbows might lift a little bit in a bent position. And working with that breath. On an inhale, come into that high crescent lunge, plant the ball of the right foot, draw the arms up, and we can open this to a little bit of a back bend here. Cactus the arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades in. Take your gaze slightly up in space. Nice. Inhale, high crescent lunge. And on your exhale, come down to low lunge, hands frame your left foot. So Vashisthasana, side plank, right hand is your base. Move onto the outside edge of the right foot, stack the left over the right, lift up through your left arm, pull the hips up away from the ground, getting to those obliques. You can also drop that right knee below your hip like that kickstand, toes out to the side as you lift up through your left side body. And again, opening this up to the camera, up to you guys right here. Pull it up away from those hips. You got this. Let's take one more inhale to lift it up. And then on the exhale, you'll come into your plank. You can shift right to down dog or lower halfway down. Root to the tops of both of the feet. Upward facing dog, maybe low cobra. And then make your way back into down dog. Awesome, friends. Bring your knees down to the ground. Find tabletop. Again, we're going to skip thread the needle when we do our breath to movement in just a little bit. But for now, take the knees out maybe a little wider than your hips. Press to your right hand. Inhale, your left arm reaches up. And on your exhale, dive your left arm underneath the right. Take the left shoulder to the side of your head to the ground. And then work with that breathing. I like to think about the right hand or forearm, again, pressing
out on an angle from the left shoulder, so it's pressing you back towards it. As the left hand reaches to the right, your left shoulder might even pull a little bit back to the left. And hips are up in space above your knees. You want to give the spine that height to come down to, so the weight of it is pitching forward into your head, into your arm. Take that last deep, slow round of breath. And then right hand under your shoulder, press into it. Inhale your left arm from underneath, reach and twist open. And on your exhale, come back down to your tabletop. And then make your way to down dog through tabletop or through plank. Nice. Find a couple rounds of breath in that down dog. So now we're going to take that sun salutation B sequence and we're going to flow with it where breath to movement, where an inhale brings us to one part of the sequence and an exhale brings us to the next. All right, on an inhale front, right leg lifts up nice and tall, three-legged down dog, press through the heel. And as you exhale, work up into a low lunge position. Inhale is high crescent lunge, arms extend up tall. And as you exhale in one move, hands to your heart center, twist to the right, left elbow to the top outside of your right thigh. Inhale is back up to high crescent lunge, reach through your arms. Now on your exhale, beggar's bowl, hover that back knee off the ground. Inhale, lift up to one-legged mountain. Left knee comes with us, and on your exhale, swim back into Dakasana, airplane. Left leg reaches back, arms reach back. Inhale, high crescent. You can do a little back bend with the arms cactus. And on your exhale, come down into your low lunge. Go right to plank or inhale side plank. Left hand is your base, right arm lifts. Now on your exhale, move through your flow. Maybe you go to down dog. Maybe you're halfway down chaturanga. Maybe upward facing dog or low cobra on the inhale and down dog on that exhale. Other side, inhale your left leg lifts up, three-legged down dog. And on the exhale, step that foot up between your hands, low lunge. Inhale, rise up, high crescent. And on your exhale, in one move, twist to the left. Hands to heart, right tricep, top outside, left thigh. Inhale, reach back up, high crescent. And on your exhale, beggar's bowl. Hover that back knee, arms are forward. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Lift arms and right knee. And exhale, airplane, Dakasana. Swim right leg back, arms back. Inhale, high crescent. Plant the ball of the right foot. Lift up through your arms, maybe the back bend. Exhale, come down to your low lunge. Go to plank or side plank. Right hand is your base. Inhale, your left arm lifts up. And then exhale to plank. Halfway down. Inhale, up dog or low cobra. Come back into down dog. Awesome, friends. From our downward facing dog, lower down into child's pose. So take the knees out wide to the edges of your mat. Bring the big toes together, tops the feet are to the ground, and then sit bones rest back to your heels. Weight of the forehead is to the earth with the arms out in front of you. Relax your body here and use that full deep breath. At times your body can be relaxed. At times you might be pressing or slightly pulling into the shape of the pose. So the press could be forward, reaching your hands, pressing them in front of you to press your sit bones back in space. The pull might be that you're actually literally pulling your sit bones closer down behind you, and you'll feel that extra length that gives into your spine. Or at times, again, just the weight of your body is just relaxed in the shape, just your breath and gravity. On your inhale, lift up to your tabletop. And then just drop one of your hips to the ground, swing your legs forward, come onto your back, reach your legs straight up, grab your hamstrings, your gaze is forward, so head and shoulders are off the ground, and then we're going to move into our core part of class. So we're going to go through movement, hold, and movement in a few different places. The movement right here, and I want you to join me off the bat, is to start to twist reaching forward through your left arm, and then reaching forward through your right arm. So legs straight up, hips and low back to the ground, and then you're pulling head and shoulders off the ground and twisting. You can always take one or even both hands behind the base of your skull to add some support here. Okay, hold your arms straight up for the hold. Gaze is forward. Again, maybe a hand behind the base of the skull. Feel that flexion through your core muscles. You got it. Nice, get back into your twist, side to side twist. Last couple. And then relax the head, bring the bottoms of the feet together. Let the knees open up wide so your legs are in the diamond shape of Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle or reclined cobbler's pose. Hands are resting on your thighs or on your belly or at your sides. And you're just letting that Ujjayi breath come back in. You're drawing it back in. You're slowing things down. Perfect, friends. For the next core move, we're going to do bicycle crunches. So hands behind the base of your skull, head and shoulders off the ground. You can bend your knees at 90 so you're in a reverse tabletop. And then just begin this with me when you're ready. So you can reach the right leg forward, right elbow twist to left knee, and then switch it out. Left leg goes forward, and the opposite elbow twist in towards opposite knee. If you want to layer this up with straight legs, you can do scissor kicks. And then the leg that comes in is the leg that you twist to as the other leg drops onto a diagonal line out from your body, a single leg lift. And then we're going to hold both feet together out in the diagonal. Let your low back root to the ground rather than there being an arch in it. So you don't drop so low that you arch your low back. You go right to that point and then hold and stay with that breathing. The last round of breath on the hold. Nice, and go back into your bicycle crunches, whether you've got the knees bending or you're doing the legs straight in space and those scissor kicks, twisting into the knee that comes in towards you. You're on the final stretch, stay with it. Three, two, one, nice, relax the body. Full morning stretch will feel great here. Reach your arms behind you, legs out in front of you. Roll out your ankles, roll out your wrists. Move your fingers and your toes. And then to bring yourself up to your sit bones, you can just lift yourself up or push your way up. Or if you want to rock up, grab your hamstrings and then just, rock back and forth from the base of your skull up to your sit bones and back. Awesome. And then in the boat pose, I want you to take the peace sign fingers to your big toes, and then we start to reach the legs out wide. So it's a bound, wide-legged boat pose, Navasana. And you're lengthening your spine back and up from here. If this is not in the cards for you, I want you just to hold boat pose with your knees bent or legs lengthened, arms open or hands at your side. If you are holding that bound boat pose, start to aim like you're aiming a bow and arrow out through your right arm, and then grab the bowstring with your left hand and just pull on the bowstring, bringing that left hand back towards your shoulder. And then we're really working on the posture while we're here. So rather than kind of collapsing and curving forward through your shoulders and spine, you're trying to lift up. Stay with that breathing. Okay, everyone release at center and hold boat. I know if you're holding boat this whole time, it's a lot of boat. So if you need to rest for a second, that's okay. And if you're doing the archer move with me, we're going to re-hook up the peace sign fingers to your big toes. Open legs wide. This time, aim through your left leg, and then pull on the bowstring with your right leg, bringing that right hand back toward. And see if you can work that length in your spine up. I love it because when you're in a bind, it's that balance of pushing and pulling against yourself in space, finding your balance. Right on. Cool, we can release from there, come forward into a tabletop, and then start to find cat and cow at your own pace. If you're not familiar with this movement, cow is dropping your belly, lifting up through your chest and your tailbone, and then cat is arching your back, dropping the weight of the head, mid-back goes high, tailbone dips down. You can inhale to one, exhale to the other. Nice, friends. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of a different version of dolphin today. So typically dolphin would just be on your forearms with the shape number 11. And then you tuck the toes, lift the hips up, walk in, and your shoulders, your sternum rather, lifts back up towards your thighs so you engage your shoulders. The variation we're going to take, and we're going to do this first with our right arm, is that you're going to keep the left arm, forearm down to the ground, but then you're going to bring your right hand out to the side. And I'll show you from a couple different angles. But essentially, my right arm's going to come out to the side, it's going to be bent at 90, and it's going to stack over my palm. So I begin this by coming into a regular dolphin, forearms on parallel, and the bellies of forearms, walking into that A-frame shape. And then I know it's on the other side from you, but I bring my right hand out to the side and press into the elbow. Keep holding it. I'm going to show you from the other side here, other angle. So I've got that right arm out to the side, and I'm pressing into it. Okay, from here, friends, left leg pulls up and back to a three-legged dolphin. And feel the length you're creating on the under left side of your body as you press into left forearm and press into that right palm. And press back through your left heel. Couple more rounds of breath. We're almost there. Nice. Lower down. Bring yourself all the way to your belly. And then for shoulder pigeon with your right arm, shift your body over to the left. Reach your right arm out to the right, palm face down. And then you roll onto your right arm. So you're stacking your left leg onto your right or planting your left foot to the ground behind your right leg. So again, from another angle, that's right arm. I slide over to the left side of my mat, reach the right arm to the right wall, palm face down. And then I roll onto my right side body, stacking the left leg onto the right or planting the left foot to the ground behind the right leg. Left hand's at your hip or the arm is back behind you in space. Find that breathing. If you'd like to bind into a quadricep stretch, bring your left heel towards your left sit bone, left hand to the top of the left foot. Find that engagement, let your left knee slightly kick back in space. Nice. You can release out of there, roll onto your belly, center yourself on your mat, and lift back up to your tabletop. Okay, so we're going to take that on the other side now. So we had the right arm out to the side in our dolphin. Now we're going to switch things out. So you'll leave your right forearm to the ground, then bring your left hand out to the side. And again, you'll end up with your left elbow directly above your left hand in space. So start out in a regular dolphin. Everything is your arms are at shoulder's distance, elbows, hands. Walk into it, lift your sternum back up towards your thighs, and now take the left hand out to the side, press into your palm, elbows right above the hand, bent at 90, and then we'll reach the right leg back up and find that three-legged dolphin. Pressing through your right heel, finding your breathing. Feel all that length you're creating on the right side of your body. From your elbow all the way up through your toes. Last couple rounds of breath, you got it. Exhale, you can bring the foot to the ground. You'll walk back to like a forearm plank, lower down to your belly. Just make your way to your belly. And then we'll switch up that shoulder pigeon for your left arm now. So shift your body over to the right side of your mat. Reach your left arm to the left wall, palm face down. So your chest is to the ground, left arm's to the left, and it's the belly of your left forearm and your palm. And then you press into your right hand and roll onto your left side body. You can stack your right leg onto the left, or plant the right foot to the ground back behind your left leg. Right hand to your hip at your side, or tucking the arm behind you. Relax the weight of your head and breathe. If you want to bind this one, right heel to your right sit bone, right hand to the top of the right foot, gently let your knee kick back in space. You're just stretching out that right quadricep while we're here. And then when you're ready, you can just release down, center yourself on your mat, relax your head down, kind of like you're laying out at the beach, relax your arms. You could pick your feet up in space and just circle your legs or windshield wiper your legs out. Awesome. Find a plank or a tabletop, and then shift back into down dog. Inhale to reach your right leg back up tall in space, three-legged down dog. And on your exhale, open the hip and bend the knee, drape the toes down over the left as the knee lifts up tall, opening through your hip. Watch that you're not dumping weight down into your left shoulders, so don't twist through the shoulders, keep them strong. And watch that your back left heel is not twisting over to the left, it's pointing directly behind us. On an exhale, step the foot up between the hands, low lunge, and then warrior two, knife edge of the left foot to the ground, left arm back, right arm forward. Gaze out across those front fingertips, tone your thighs, press strong off the back left leg and strengthen around your right knee. Relax your shoulder heads. Okay, for Trikonasana triangle, straighten out your right leg. Reach your right arm as far forward as it goes, and then tilt down. You could have your hand to your shin. If you're working with a block, you could take it on like level 3 or level 2 to the outside of your right ankle and press into the block. Left arm goes up. Or if your fingertips do touch the ground, you can have your fingertips to the ground on the outside of that right ankle. We are opening the wingspan from the ground to the sky, stacking left shoulder over the right, reaching the crown of the head forward, drawing the hips back. And then rather than locking the right knee as you're straightening that right leg out, just keep a micro bend in it, but you are lengthening it. You are pressing to your right foot and pulling your hips back. And then one modification, variation we'll take in this Trikonasana is that now take that left arm and start to reach it forward to the front of the room. Keep your arm plugged into the shoulder socket as you extend through the fingertips so you're reaching more through the side body. On your inhale, come back up to your warrior two. And as you exhale, reverse your warrior. Left hand to your hip, thigh or behind you. Right arm pulls up in space. Your gaze can move up to your right arm. Awesome breathing. Perfect, friends. So bring both of your hands onto your right thigh. Twist onto the ball of your left foot, so you're more in a high lunge with your hands to your thigh. For a staged warrior three, and again, if you're using a block, there's a couple other variations you can do. I'm going to press the hands to the right thigh, rock forward, and then reach the left leg to the wall behind, pressing the heel back in space. Keep left hand there and reach our right arm forward. So another variation you can do is you have your left hand right down onto a block on level 3 and press into it or reach forward with your right arm. Capital T the body, so your spine's at the half lift. If your right arm's reaching forward and you want to move to full warrior 3, draw that left arm forward. Front of your left hip bone is pointing straight down to the ground. Toes are pointing down, left heel is pointing back and pulling up on level with your hips. Make sure you're not locking the right leg, there's a micro bend in it. Beautiful, friends. And then we release to a low lunge position. For a pigeon, half pigeon, just walk the right foot to the left side of your mat. Drop your right knee over to your right. Slide your left leg back a little bit in space. I'm taking the gaze over the shoulders to check that the leg's straight back behind. And then when you lift up to upward facing pigeon, just pressing to your fingertips, the right knee is to the outside of your right hand. So your heel is closer, your right heel is closer to the center of your body, closer to your navel line. And then from there, start to walk down and bring it to your forearms. Bring your head to your hands, to the ground, or to a block. You can have the top of the right foot or the side of the right foot to the ground. Watch that you're not dropping the weight, into your right hip, like I'm doing right here, twisting to the side. You want to keep the hips on level with one another in space. And the top of your left leg is pointing down. You could always do reclined pigeon on your back if this one's not in the cards for you. That would be right ankle over the top of your left thigh. And then all about that deep breathing, friends. Find that breath. Last couple rounds of breath on this one. If you're on your back, meet us in down dog. From that humble pigeon, folded forward, lift into upward facing pigeon. Tuck your back left toes, and then bring your right leg back to three-legged down dog and just give a little bit of movement through the leg. Open through the hip and bend the knee, or pump the leg to the side. Find a full down dog, and then we'll inhale the left leg backing up in space, three-legged down dog. And as you exhale, open the hip and bend the knee. Drape the toes down to the right as the knee lifts up tall. Again, keep your shoulders level and strong. Back right heel points directly behind us. Inhale to lift. And on your exhale, work your foot up between your hands, low lunge. And for warrior 2, knife edge the right foot to the ground. Heels are in one line from the front of the mat to the back. Left sit bones underneath your body. Tone your thighs in. Press strong into the knife edge of that right foot. Make sure you're supporting that left knee in space. Spine up tall, shoulder heads released. Gaze out across the front fingertips and stay with your breathing. And then to take this into triangle, inhale to straighten out your left leg. And on your exhale, reach as far forward as you can through your left arm and tilt down. Maybe your hand goes to the block on the outside of your ankle. Maybe your fingertips press to the ground on the outside of the ankle, or your hand is to your shin. Right arm is straight up in space. And again, just a little bit of difference. Rather than your left knee locked, there's a little bit of softness into it. Awesome. Your spine is a crossbar here. So parallel to the ground. Arms are reaching in a T from there, straight down and up. And then we'll throw that variation in where you start to reach your right arm forward, plugging your right arm into your shoulder socket as you extend through your fingertips. And you should feel a nice stretch through that right side body, right through that right oblique here. You're still stacked, right shoulder over the left, and still staying with that breathing. And then on your inhale, come back up to your warrior two, and as you exhale, reverse your warrior. So right hand to your hip thigh or behind you, left arm lifts up tall, gaze can go up towards your left hand. Press down into your lunge. Right shoulder relaxes away from your right ear. Beautiful, friends. Exhale your hands down on top of your left thigh. Twist onto the ball of your right foot, and then we're going to move into that supported warrior three. So you can move your right hand down to a block on level 3 in front of you, or just press your hands to your thigh, lift that right leg up, and start to gaze down. Bring your spine parallel to the floor. Lift the right heel up on level with your hip. Point and press your heel back to the wall behind you. Toes point down. Left arm could go forward with your right hand pressing the left thigh, or you could go both arms forward as well. Nice breathing. One more inhale to it, and then with that exhale, you'll lower down to your low lunge. And for pigeon, walk your left foot over to the right side of your mat. Drop your left knee to the left. Slide your right leg back. Top of the foot is to the ground. Legs directly behind you. You can press to your fingertips and lift up through your chest. Make any more adjustments you need. And then fold into humble pigeon. And if you're on your back in reclined pigeon, just left ankle over your right thigh. And you're looking for that Goldilocks level of sensation. I always end up kind of saying that phrase when I'm in pigeon. Because, we don't need to go so far that there's so much sensation that that's all that there is, and that, your breath even is kind of taken away a little bit by it. You want to find that balanced level of sensation where there's room for the breath to move through your body. Think about what you're doing with Ujjayi breathing is having a conversation between mind and body. And we always want to keep that flow alive. We want to have space for it. Take that last full deep round of breath, big inhale into it. Control your exhale or sigh it out. And then we meet in our final downward facing dog. So reaching the left leg back and up, you can give some movement through it. And then finally a full down dog just to press into, to stretch into. Lowering down to your knees when you're ready. And we'll make our way onto our back. So just reaching your legs out in front of you. Sliding your hips up a little bit. And as you come down, find happy baby. So peace sign fingers to your big toes or hands to the edges of your feet. Knees open wide. And then your ankles are stacked above your knees so the bottoms of your feet are shining in space. Relax your head and then pull down on the frame, bringing your low back close to the ground or into it, and just give a little rock side to side there. And all the while, you're still working with that Ujjayi breathing, so still controlling the inhale, controlling the exhale. Especially while we're in this cool down part of class. There's not as much movement going on. We're more in the holding of the pose. And the breath just takes even that much more of a place in the practice. For bridge pose, feet to the ground, knees are up in space, they're at hip bone distance. Reach your arms down your sides and step your heels back till your fingertips touch your heels. This lines your knees up underneath your heels, and then press your elbows to the ground with them bent at 90. Reach up through the hips and step your shoulder blades in a little closer, making a shelf for your heart. Feel all corners of your feet rooted to the earth. Weight of the head totally relaxed here, and find that breath. If your eyes are open and you're looking at your belly inside of bridge pose as you're doing Ujjayi breathing, you can see the rise and fall of your breath. And this breath, it's a diaphragm breath, right? It's a singer's breath. It's more than just the chest breath that your body does during the course of your day. I call it a full body breath. The next exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, lower down. And when your hips land, just draw your knees in, wrap your arms around the shins, and give a little rock side to side. And for some spinal twists on your back, let's stack the knees over to the left. So you're on the outside edge of your left hip. And then reach and stretch your right arm out to the right, and your gaze goes out across your right fingertips. Left hand could pull down on the top and outside of that right knee. And right shoulder could gently relax towards the earth or even gently pull towards the earth. Complete the breath, and then slowly switch your sides out. Coming onto your back, now stacking the knees over to the right, reaching and stretching your left arm out to the left and taking your gaze out across your left fingertips. Left shoulder gently pulling down to the ground at your side. When you're feeling complete and balanced, just bring your knees into your chest, give a little hug, a little rock side to side. And then we'll move into our final resting pose, our Shavasana, for a couple of minutes here. So, making your body comfortable, stretching your legs out in front of you, relaxing your arms at your sides, closing your eyes. Allowing your body just to take back control of the breath. In Shavasana, this is the place, as we relax into it, where we are allowing our mind and our body to soak up the practice. We go through all of that active breathing. We go through the movement, we go through the balance, we go through the strengthening, we go through the stretching. And then we arrive at this place where we have that full ability to release. And a word that comes to mind is the word surrender. I don't mean that in, in Western society, or not in Western society, in the world. Sometimes that has a negative context to it, that you lost, that there's something wrong with you, that you should have done better. And that's not the type of surrender here. The type of surrender here is the type of letting go, allowing yourself to be held, allowing yourself to relax, knowing what is there supporting you, knowing what you are releasing into. And slowly start to wake. Just bring movement to your fingers and your toes. Give a roll into your ankles and your wrists. Full morning stretch, arms reach all the way back behind you, legs out in front of you. And then roll the weight of your body onto your side into a fetal position. Curl up, relax. Maybe deepen the breath here. And then keeping the eyes closed, bring yourself up to a comfortable cross-legged position or whatever pose you'd like to end your practice with. If you're on your sit bones, you can pull the flesh away from your sit bones or walk them back to find the front edge. From the front edge of the sit bones, we can lengthen the spine up in space. Like at the beginning of class, a shoulder roll, drawing the shoulder heads high up towards your ears, and then releasing them down away from the ears and the back. Draw your hands together into your heart center, thumbs in towards your sternum. The head can release and bow to the heart. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether it is clear to you or not, no doubt the universe is unfolding exactly as it should. The light in me greets the light in you. Namaste.